Good morning. Okay, so, oh, I got that. Okay, so I sent home, how many people watched the video I sent home? Raise your hand. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so the reason I'm going to send home some videos is because some of the stuff that I have to pause and start and stop the live recording because I can't play other people's videos during class. So a lot of times if we have a video, I'll play it at the beginning of class or at the end of class because if I have another copyright infringement, they close my channel. Okay. So, so the video was the same test that I gave my son with the crayon. Okay, so let me check it. It's just funny to me that it's 40 degrees or whatever in San Diego this morning, 40 something, and we're like dying of cold. When it's 40 when we're up and skiing, I'm wearing this same thing and gloves. Why is 40 degrees while skiing like so warm? But 40 degrees here, we're all dying. Is it expectation? So what we're gonna find this out a lot this semester that your perspective is based on the number of observations that you make. Your perspective is based on the number of observations. So if you go outside and it's cold, and you're outside and it's cold for a day or two, guess what your body does? It adjusts its chemistry so that the cold doesn't bother you. I'm not going to sing the song. Okay, good morning. Okay, and so what happens is your body just gets used to the cold. It's the same thing as good morning, you got your standard Arizonan, it's 110 degrees out there, like, it's nice today. The poor San Diegan who's used to this very narrow temperate zone, they go, we're dying. And they're like, what? They're not running. It's the same thing as what if you're used to a really super dry heat like Arizona, and then all of a sudden you have a monsoon come in and there's humidity. What happens to everybody in Arizona? They die. I mean, literally, because the same thing if you're in Florida. Anybody ever try to go for a run in Florida? I suggest it. The first mile feels great. Everything's warm, nothing hurts, and then all of a sudden you start sweating, and it doesn't evaporate, and you don't cool down. And it runs over. It's amazing. Okay, so everything that we talk about is always going to be relative based on the number of observations that you make. Everything that we talk about, it's relative to the number of observations. And so it's really... So what is Sam doing in my office right in this picture? Working. Sam was one of my TAs last year, and so Sam discovered I needed people to drive the race car to get money so we could buy more stuff in the game, and because I refused to buy crap. And so I basically sent her as a trained chimpanzee. Good job, Sam. And she drove around the track a bunch of times and kept winning races or trying to win races. And whenever you win races, you get money. And whenever you get money, you can upgrade stuff and buy stuff. Standard video gaming, number one. Okay, so why do I have an Xbox in my office? You really need to ask that. I'm sorry. What's the point of having an Xbox in my office? And a big-ass TV that used to be hanging in the student center, but somehow disappeared. They're remodeling. They had to take them down. I found it. Okay. I don't have the remote for it. If I had the remote for it, it would be even better. And yes, I know you could buy one, but I'm cheap. Okay. What's the point of this thing? Distracted driving. So we did the first set of things we did with the Xbox are video games and aggression. We tried to piss people off while playing video games. Because anecdotally, what's an anecdote? Yeah, say it louder. Yeah. An anecdote is a single observation. point. So this, and if someone says, hey, yeah, my kid always gets upset and they get really ragey when they're playing video games. And so what they say, the video games cause the kid to be ragey. Because that's an anecdote. What is one of the things your mind does? Come on. I'm writing it on the board. Thank you. So you assume that there is a cause and effect relationship in the world. We automatically critically think, sort of. Anybody know where you get your cause and effect relationships in the world from? Personal experience. Your anecdote. People make cause and effect relationships based on one observation. This is great. During the election cycle, you're going to hear a lot about voter fraud. All these illegal immigrants are voting. There's voter fraud, voter fraud, voter fraud, voter fraud. Why do they know there's voter fraud? When? Evidence. There was a Chicago election where a bunch of dead people voted. 1927. See, voter fraud. Yeah, Iowa was not necessarily fraud, it was just blatant incompetence. Good job, Democrats. Really shining a bright light. Oh well. Hey, here's an app, man. Use it. Okay, did we test it? Sure. Anybody knows when an app is first released? What happens? It doesn't work very well. It crashes. Wow. Even Facebook app crashes occasionally. They know what they're doing. So we hire somebody named Shadow Conspiracy to make our app. Seriously? Moving on. Incompetents are us. Do you think we should change our name? No! Okay, fine. So now. Wonderful. Okay, I'm a politics. So, if I keep saying voter fraud over time, what do people start to believe? There was voter fraud. Any evidence? No, just a lot of anecdotes. And what's interesting about this is that every time anybody makes a speech, you have a bunch of nerds sitting in front of Google fact-checking. Anytime somebody makes a statement, I'm trying to think of a good Pelosi one that she said. She said something last year, I can't remember what it was, and everybody fact-checked it and said, no, you're wrong. She believed that she was right when she said it. Because she heard it. But is that good evidence? No, it's not good evidence. Critical thinking, cause and effect, needs to come from measurements. It needs to come from measurements. And we need data. And as a critical thinker, whenever you hear somebody say something, say, show me the data. What does the data say? And if the person says, the data is just fake. So then wait. The climate denialists do this a lot. The scientists are faking data to get grants. Wow. It's been the warmest summer ever, and we see lots of things happening. But why do people say the data is fake? But you know what the word bias means? Oh, I love skew. We talked about that in Scratch yesterday. Anyway, it's just fun to say. What does skew mean? What does a bias mean? Oops. Easy there, computer. I didn't realize I was that close to this stuff. Okay. A bias means that you have a conclusion before you collect the data. So this happens a lot in science, sadly. There was a gentleman who worked with autistic children, and he was a doctor that saw specifically autistic children, and he noticed that all of them had been vaccinated. So he said, vaccines cause autism. And so he started publishing his research because he really believed that the vaccines were the cause of autism. A lot of autism is diagnosed right after the kids get their 3 or 4-year-old vaccine. Also, a lot of children, okay, actually 0.5% of all the children vaccinated, what happens after they get a vaccine? They get sick. Some of the chemicals inside the vaccine can cause a bad reaction for some kids. Some kids can develop a high fever. Some kids develop, one year I got the flu shot and I got the flu, like a week after getting the flu shot. Most likely because some moron who was in line with me at the thing sneezed on my back. I rubbed the back of my head and stuck my finger in my eyeball and I got the flu. Is it caused by the flu shot? No. But because they happen close in time together, I'm like, oh, the guy got the flu from this damn flu shot. I also waited till late November to get my flu shot, but that's not important. Okay, so, but if you believe that the flu shot caused the flu, in your head, did the flu shot cause the flu? Yes. In this doctor's mind, the vaccines were causing the autism. But cause and effect needs to have measurements. And you can't look back for cause and effect. That's not good science. So what do we try to do in science? We ask a question, a hypothesis. That's looking forward. I know we did this in a class last time, we're doing it. Okay? It's a hypothesis. We're looking forward. So, in order to test this hypothesis, what would we have to do? What would we have to measure first? What did he say was the cause and effect relationships? Vaccines, good. So vaccines and so what do we have to measure? That's what we're going to investigate with the vaccine. So we're going to measure autism. Now, it would be very unethical to take a bunch of very young, healthy babies and then give half of them a vaccine and half of them a placebo and then wait. Because what if it actually did cause? Oops. Sorry, guys. So, we have to use some ethics in science. Sorry. So, what they do is, what if we look at everybody who gets a vaccine, and look at the percentage of people who get autism. Then look at a large group of people who don't get vaccinated, and look at the percentage of autism. If the vaccines were causing the autism, what should you find? You would find people who get the vaccines have a higher rate of autism. So I'm going to draw a distribution for you, and what the data look like. I missed. He went on lots of things and became extremely famous. Until the problem with science. Oh, and he got a lot of educated people to back his ideas. And pretty people, Hollywood people, started backing his ideas. Orange County, augmented people, started backing his ideas. We want to be all natural with my fake lips, fake boobs, and fake butts. And Botox. No vaccines for my kids, though. Anyway, it's a really hard dichotomy to live with, but whatever. Okay, but what happened is other doctors tried to replicate his findings. This is something that happens very sadly. As soon as you start becoming famous, what becomes more important? Your research or being famous? Being famous. So he studies kids with autism. A relatively low percentage of the population of people with autism. Okay? And so on this scale, we're gonna write autistic. And if the vaccine, on the y-axis, we're gonna measure the amount of autism. And the frequency of people who have autism compared to the number of vaccines. And it turns out that, yes, there are some people who get autism that are very high on the autism scale. But there's no difference between the probability of getting autism with vaccines and without vaccines. The probability is the same. Why did the doctor find the relationship at the beginning? His samples were small, and he only studied autistic kids. Well, he said he did. But what it came out, anybody know what came out? You think you know the study. He said he studied 200,000 normal children and found a higher incidence of autism amongst. And they went back to look at his data because in science it's always peer-reviewed. Never do science alone. It's very depressing anyway, but guess what they found? He didn't actually test any other kids. He had his one sample, his one observation. Good morning. Okay. He had his one sample, his one observation, and went with it. This happens a lot. And the reason it happens a lot is because these biases, these anecdotes, really do change people's behavior. And they really do sway people. You can give people evidence forever, and they don't believe it because they believed their bias before. And the climate change denialist people, I forget who said it, but they told a little Swedish girl who's been sailing around the world telling people, hey, this is my planet I'm inheriting. Old people, okay, boomer, stop ruining our world. And they're telling her, oh, go back to school and get a haircut. In other words, shut up, you little girl. We're trying to run the world here. What she was told. And the reason that is, why would you not care? I mean, for me, it would be really cool to see the ocean kind of come up in the Mission Beach, up Mission Bay, all the way to Fashion Island, or Fashion Valley. Quite this foot. It does half the time it rains anyway. But at the same time, what if you live in Bangladesh? You ain't got no country left if you live in Bangladesh. Good morning. Okay, and it's kind of scary in some respects, but at the same time, it's why do people deny? They believe something else. And because they believe something else, they're just not going to see a cause and effect relationship that might be there. It's kind of fun, sort of, if it weren't so serious. Okay, so we're going to break into little groups today in a few minutes, and I want to kind of go through the experiment that I set the video home for. And when we break into groups afterwards, we're going to design an experiment using the Xbox. My research method students on Friday, tomorrow, they're actually going to be conducting research using the Xbox. So whatever the best one that gets designed in my yesterday's class and today's class, we're actually going to do that on Friday and see how it goes. It's going to go badly, just to let you know. So you're going to design an experiment to use with the Xbox, but we'll get there in a second. Okay, so first of all, get that. So every time we do experiments, I kind of basically set up the same basic little schema here. Same basic idea. Why do you have to do the same thing every single time you do science? It's a method. That's right. It's a method that works. And if everybody follows the same method, we can compare results. if everybody's using a slightly different method, can you really compare? No. So there might be better ways to do things, but if everybody follows the same basic rules, it's like playing basketball. If everybody plays with the same basic rules, you can play the game. Anybody know why there's so many rules in basketball? It's a great story. When basketball was first invented, it was invented in back east, and it was cold out, and no one wanted to go outside to play football. So they said, so you hung a peach basket up on the wall, and they were throwing a ball into the peach basket, and they started competing with each other. The first couple games, 2 or 3 people broke arms, one person got a broken leg, and like 6 or 7 broken noses, because how were they keeping the people from getting the ball in the basket? Punching the crap out of them. So basically, picture football, but with basketball. I would love to play it. I don't know if I'd pay to watch it. But at the same time, wouldn't it be great just like full contact, no rules basketball? It's like middle school. Okay, so, but why did they come up with the rules? You can't touch the other person. Because other people were just getting hurt, and it actually became not fun. Because people are just full on getting tackled. There's actually a sport called team handball. Have you ever heard of this in Europe? Which is like soccer with your hands, and they clobber the crap out of each other a lot. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. Anyway. No, if they play in an indoor like soccer court with like a little ball, and it's like, it's weird. It's European thing. Okay. It's not like an American sport, like baseball, which makes a lot of sense. Until you watch cricket. Okay. And even the fast cricket, still slow. Okay. So, let's use some critical thinking. In the experiment in the video, if you haven't watched it, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, sorry. Okay. So, what happens is they do the false belief test. So, can someone remember what the false belief test that they use is? Good. Okay. Cheese. I love cheese. Okay? And what do we have? 2 pirates. Pirate number 1, which is, I can't remember his name, Ivan. Pirate number 2, which is named, not a very strong pirate name, Joshua. So we have Pirate Ivan and Pirate Joshua. Pirate Ivan loves cheese sandwiches. I love cheese. Okay. So, what is this? Treasure box. Okay? Are you following this along so far? If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it'll start to make sense. Ivan has a cheese sandwich. He puts it on top of the treasure chest. Why would that? I don't understand why they do that. Okay. Ivan leaves. So far, so good? Wind blows Ivan's cheese sandwich onto the grass. Totally not worth it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. Just because I can. Okay, so Joshua comes by and puts Joshua's cheese sandwich on top of the chest. And then Joshua goes off to get a drink. Okay? Ivan comes back. And they ask the kid a question. Choose. O-S-E or O-O-S-E? No idea. Okay. So, which will Ivan choose? Okay, so what is the observation that they're making? What is the point of this whole experiment? Yeah, the observation is the RTPJ, right temporal parietal judgment, or junction, sorry. Right RPT, right, Okay, this part of the brain right here, okay, what that does is it looks for purpose and intent in other people's behavior. That part of your brain connects other people's behavior with your own emotions. It's really interesting. People with autism don't use that part of the brain for that. So when somebody does something, they take it exactly on face value, exactly what they did. I had a wonderful student in my class a couple years ago that was on the spectrum of autism, and she's super intelligent. And she explained something, and she used this amazingly complicated definition for what she was explaining. It's called the Flynn effect. Okay, but anyway. And I go, can you explain that in a different way? She goes, that's the way you explain it. There was one explanation. Good morning. There's one explanation. And it was very accurate, but most of the students couldn't understand what she said. How come she couldn't rephrase what it was? Good morning. How come she couldn't rephrase what it was? Just so someone else could understand it. That's how she learned it. That's how you say it. Well, someone else can't understand it. She goes, well, they're stupid. As opposed to just explaining it a different way so other people can understand it, she can't see how anybody else would not understand what she said. Kind of neat, actually. My friend's son, Shelby, is on the spectrum of autism. And it's actually kind of fun because he makes costumes, not Halloween costumes, but he was a theater major, and now he's shifting toward a business major because the job for theater majors has already been taken. And he designs sets, and he makes costumes. It's really awesome if you're on the spectrum of autism to design a costume. Because there's an exact right way to make it. And if it doesn't look perfect, he won't finish until it's perfect. And his period for costumes are just amazing. There was a play going on at San Diego State, and he had to make a German Gestapo outfit. Okay? And so he was sewing this thing and putting it together, and he tried it on to make sure it fit and moved okay and looked like it should when you moved. Not just look like it should hanging on a thing, but actually look like it. Anyway. So they take care of dogs, like dog sit. They got hooked up with Airbnb, so if you have a dog and you Airbnb your house, they'll take your dog while you Airbnb your house. It's actually a pretty good gig. They get a dog and get $50 a day to take care of people's dogs. So they got a German Shepherd while he was working on this. And he's like, score! What's better than a Gestapo uniform? Walking a German dog with a German uniform. So he walks down the street taking the dog for a walk in his Gestapo outfit. No problem. They live in Del Cerro. San Diego State, Jewish neighborhood. Oh. Oops. Doesn't understand why people were upset. He was falling goose-stepping and everything. Because he was playing the costume role with the dog. They were filming it for YouTube because he sells his costumes on YouTube. And they do a really good job. And somebody said, hey, I want a Lithuanian officer's uniform from the 1920s. Or whenever Lithuania got destroyed by Russia. Anyway, so she did mountains of research and sewed it together and sent it off. Made a fortune because no one else could figure out how to make it properly. But how come he could do it? I said she, sorry. He's a transition, female to male, transgender. So she got rid of her boobs, and now he doesn't have any, but he doesn't have any junk yet. They haven't done the surgery. It's complicated because his partner is also female to male transsexual. So, his dad basically says, it's a really complicated Venn diagram to explain exactly. He's trans gay is the way we like to call it now. I prefer the name just clear. It's just, you're fine. Be Shelby. Sorry. Okay. Be yourself. So, complicated. So, this right temporal parietal junction, how do we know it's working? We stick their freaking heads in an fMRI machine. And they did this. They stick people in the machine and listen to that part of the brain. When that part of the brain lights up, they're called voxels. When those voxels turn red, that part of the brain is being used. Okay, so what did they measure? They did measure the brain activity, but what did they measure in this experiment? They manipulated the age. In this particular experiment, the independent variable was age. They tested kids at which age? 3, 5, and 7. So there's 3 groups. So the independent variable has 3 levels. 3, 5, and 7-year-old. I tested my son at 3. Most 3-year-olds, well, wait. How do I know if they pass or fail? How do I know what they did? What do I measure? Physiological measures are good, but they're not psych experiments. So if we wanted to measure frustration, I can't just measure adrenaline in their mouth. I mean, I can swab it and put it in a dish, and if it turns a certain color, it has a certain amount of adrenaline in it, like testing pool water, but spit. But I mean, I can do that, but does that tell me how they're actually feeling? You have to look at the child's behavior. We look at the relationship of the child's behavior to the brain and make conclusions, but the brain doesn't tell us anything. We're going to stick one of your heads in a brain thing next week. You can watch one of your brains up on the screen. And it doesn't really tell us anything, except if you're tired or not, I can tell. If you've been using cannabis, I can tell. No one's come in drunk yet, so I could tell if you tried, but please don't. I don't want to get you in trouble. Okay. Or me in trouble for telling you to give them. Okay, so, but what's interesting about this is that what are they asking in the kids? What behavior are they asking the kids to do? Which sandwich the pirate will choose. So they're measuring the answer to the question. Okay, so what did the 3-year-old say? The children, which one do you think the pirate will choose? That's the first question. Remember that? So the 3-year-old said the one on the grass. The 5-year-old said the one on the chest, and then the 7-year-old said the one on the chest. So there was definitely a break there. Right? My son said, what do you think is in there? What did you think? What will someone think? My son failed the same test very quickly. What will mom think's in there? Pop, just sick. No problem. Bless you. Okay? The 5-year-old says, oh, he'll choose the one on the chest. Because he left his on the chest. He doesn't know the wind blew it off. So therefore, his perspective, little pirate perspective, is different than what the 5-year-old experienced. Now, here's the second part of the experiment, and this determines whether you got it or not. I'll go back to green. What was the second measure that they used? Yeah. Was the person doing something wrong? Should they feel guilty for stealing the sandwich? This is what the right temporal parietal junction is. This is your morals. What's a part of morals? How do you know that, should you be mad at someone for doing something? Depends on the perspective and the situation involved. And you could say, well, no, if they, so this is a big discussion we had with my wonderful little daughter when she was learning to drive, is there's a lot of homeless people live in my neighborhood, and so we're driving down the road, and a homeless person's slowly walking across the street in sort of a meandering path, and I'm like, you got to slow down or stop because this guy might walk in front of you. And she's not slowing down, so I said it a little more loudly. Then I said it in some sort of shrilly, squeaky little girl voice that I like to use when I get panicky. Stop! She jams on the brakes. She goes, why are you yelling at me? And he's like, in front of our car. And her answer was, well, he shouldn't have been in the road. Is that true? Yes. I go, even if you back over someone you don't see, you still back over someone. Wow. Yeah, manslaughter versus homicide. So vehicular manslaughter means was unintentional, but you'll still hit him. Usually manslaughter is only done if it's negligence on your part. If you saw the person with plenty of time and could have stopped and choose not to, that's your fault as vehicular manslaughter. What if the person jumps off a bridge in front of you, which is really sad. That happens every so often. You just get to feel bad, but you're not going to get a criminal offense against it. There's nothing you could have done. Like when the Tesla ran over the lady, if a driver was actually paying attention and not watching Netflix, was it a Tesla or was it a self-driving Uber? I can't remember what car it was. Basically in Florida, self-driving Uber, the lady was watching Netflix, and basically a woman on a dark road just stepped out from the bushes right in front of the car. And the self-driving car is not smart enough to see it. Well, if that had happened to a driver, probably wouldn't have seen it either. But people blame the self-driving car. Anyway, so the idea is that morals. So what did the 3-year-old say? Should the person get in trouble? Yes. What did the 5-year-old say? And he said the wind should get in trouble. And then as you get to 7, but it's interesting is that the 5-year-old waffles back and forth between the guilt. Some 5-year-olds say, yes, they should be punished because they took the wrong sandwich. Some 5-year-olds say, no. So what happens is that we start getting a little bit more complicated with this kind of research. Psych research is very tricky. And the hardest part about psych research is this. How do we know the person actually feels guilty? Yeah, give me a ruler and a meter stick to measure psychological behavior. Go ahead. So what's the only thing that we can actually measure in psychology? Well, we use statistics, but statistics only show me data. Like in my stats course right now, we're working with the Center for Disease Control data. It's kind of fun. Wait for it. It's a big program. Okay, and might cause the screen to crash, actually. Did I ever hit the go live button? I did, okay. So let me just open this up really quickly. Statistics is great. Recently used data. Oh, we're in New Jersey. Sweet. Here's New Jersey. Okay, we're talking about, let's just make this quick little graph really quickly of New Jersey, and the average height of someone in New Jersey. Hold on. This software does not like touchscreens. From 1991 all the way up until 2017, there's 8,322 students in this particular database, and the average height is 1.69 meters. Data. What do I measure? Height. right? And I measure the height in, why do I measure it in meters? Well, can I compare males and females? Who's taller, males or females? Males. Okay? And if I put my male and female on here, there's male and female, and I put my height in here, if I know measurements, what can I show you? The average height of a female is around 6.25 or 1.65 meters, and the average height of a male is 1.75 meters. Here. I could double click on it and put the numbers on there if you really wanted to see the exact specific numbers. So, is this a fact? Is this data? Yeah, it's all the people we measured, all 8,000 people. What ethnicity is the tallest? Come on, what ethnicity is the tallest? Latinx? No. Yeah, but in New Jersey, they're not Mexicans, they're Puerto Ricans. East Coast. East Coast Mexican. Depending on which you look at. But the idea that, are white or black people taller? They're both the same, actually, statistically. When those little TIE fighter things actually represent the range of the data, and the plus or minus, and that's they overlap, that means they're the same. And yeah, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx is the way we like to say it, because Hispanic means you speak Spanish. Chaparrito? Okay. We like Latinx now in the science community because it doesn't differentiate. It's anybody with a Latin background. Okay? And which gets kind of a little weird because, wait, Middle Eastern, it has a Latin background. It's so it's Spanish. Spanish. Well, there's a lot of Middle Eastern influence in Spain. They had some of the best libraries throughout history, and my people burnt them down. Sorry about that. Because that was me. Sorry. Okay. Apologize for my people throughout history and currently. Okay. So, what's interesting about, we can start looking, and the best part is about this data, when you actually go, we have mountains and mountains, 800, in the real data set, the full data set that we have, I have over 1 million high school kids in this data set. The Center for Disease Control puts it out every 2 years. I'm going to get 2019. It should be ready to go mid-April, and then I'll be able to download 2019. So I have 1991 every year all the way up. And we can look at our culture. Are we really getting more obese? No, not according to statistics. Sorry. Yeah, I think. Anyway, these are high school kids. These are not real people. They're. Well, what happens when you get out of high school? It's called the freshman 15. Then you have the 40s, 50. Oh. Y'all think the freshman 15's bad. Boy, wait till you hit 36. Your body goes, eh. Okay, sorry. So what we're going to do is I want to have you design an experiment. I want you to design an experiment. The hypothesis or the observation is I'm just going to see what this comes up, and it might be inappropriate, but I don't care. Oh, did I close the live streaming? Oh, I did. Did it stop live streaming? Hold on. I closed Google. It says it's live. Oh, good. It's still going. I think. Yep. Okay, good. It's running about a little bit back behind where I am. So, okay. So, Perfect. I don't want to copyright infringement, but you get the idea. So my son and I, I don't do Instagram anymore, but my son and I follow basically idiots in vehicles on Instagram. Everybody follow that in here? I highly recommend it. It's people doing stupid things while they're driving. There's one where the person has a newspaper across the whole front of their car on the freeway. And every so often, that's bold. We've seen, my son and I anecdotally have seen people with their iPads sitting on their on their phone. This one guy was an Uber driver who had a phone here and an iPad here and had this little window in which he's looking out and he's driving. So, are people bad drivers? Okay, so you perfectly said the right question first. Define bad. Define bad. And so this is exactly the right way to think, because the first thing that you have to do when someone makes an observation is make a measurement. So this is the hard part in psychology. So I'm giving you the measurement. Measurement. Okay, not that. I want that. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and I'm going to grab my measurement. Sam. I'm going to make Sam smaller so it doesn't take up quite so much space. Come on. Okay, so with this Xbox, we can collect data. And this is actually the reason why we got the Xbox, is because we can use it to collect experimental data. So what we do is we set up a track. There's a bunch of different ways that we tried to set up tracks, but we found out that setting up a road track on one of the racing games was the most efficient way to do this. It reduced the amount of errors. So you're going to hear a lot about this thing, error. Error means, well, what does error mean? They're mistakes made by the experiment, not by the experimentee, not by the subject. We want the subject to make errors because that's what we can measure. But error from our side, the experimenter side, are things that you don't think of, things that you screw up. Like, for example, what would be a problem of going out and just driving around? Dangerous? All right, we're going to be using cannabis today. Okay, here, go smoke this. Let's go for a drive. Hey, that's good. Hey, anybody want Taco Bell? Okay, so the idea of taking someone on the road introduces too much error into the experiment. So we drive on a closed track. Why have everybody drive on the same track? Yeah. So the goal is, this is the fun part of doing science. Your job is to try to control as much as you can and only manipulate one thing. So the reason why we like the Xbox, it's a very controlled environment. We can make it very similar to driving a real car, but it's safe and we can control all the environmental variables. I can control the other cars. That was an experiment we did. It's highly funny, but one of you guys might be able to figure it out. Okay, but we can do lots of things. Okay, so what are the dependent variables? How do we define bad driving? What's the easiest way to define a bad driver? Yeah. So we can count crashes. It's very easy to count crashes when you're sitting there next to the person watching them drive. Every time they go off the road, we make a hash mark. Every time they, okay, what else is another way? Okay, so the measure is called fluency. We count the number of crashes. Fluency means the number of corrections that they need. Has anybody ever been driving with a fresh driver, or you've been a fresh driver? There's a lot of this going on. And if you just relax while your daughter's driving and you're flopping back and forth, because it's kind of very funny. Dad, stop! What? I'm sorry. What? We had Anne last year in my class. She sat right up there, actually. She had never, ever held a steering wheel in entire life before, and she volunteered to do the driving experiment. How did she do? In the 10 minutes that she had to drive, she made it, I think, 500 meters. Well, she kept just flooring it and turning it too far. And so, which is actually highly entertaining, you floor it and turn it too far, and what happens? Donuts. Yeah, you do donuts. I'm like, yeah, let it roast, baby. We had tire wear on, so then after she'd done it for a few times, what happened? The tires are worn out, and she tries to accelerate, and the back end just spins around. Anyway, and then she ended up crashing and driving off the track and into a pond, and it was just awful. And then, what is Sam's hand on? Stick shift. Down in the bottom, you can see Sam's foot. I think she might be barefoot, so wear shoes. Anyway, there's pedals. 3 pedals. Oh, in some experimental conditions it was. And so, but what we did, so we manipulated this. We can measure fluency. We can measure cussing. Anne is very polite and did not cuss at all. She did say, oh, geez, a lot. Sorry. And she had no idea the relative movement of the steering wheel, how it controlled the vehicle. She couldn't figure out how this affected that. She'd never, ever sat behind a wheel with the driver before. She was, I'd like to learn to drive someday. I'm like, no. Okay. So, we can count the number of swerves. We can count the amount of times that they get frustrated. Okay? And then we can also count anger. And the last thing is actually what's really fun is you calculate speed. So the way we have the paradigm set up, and everybody's going to be using the same dependent variables, because you're going to make your own experiment here in a minute. Everybody's using these variables as what you're measuring. Okay? We set a time of 1 minute and 30 seconds to drive around the track. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds to drive around the track. If you're too fast, you get penalized. If you're too slow, you get penalized. So what we do is, what is your goal once you learn how to drive the car? To get as close to that time as possible. And it's a way of testing your driving skill and fluency. And they're called observed trials. If you can actually go do this in your own real car, is they give you point A to point B. You have to get from point A to point B in exactly the right amount of time. And if you do the math out, you figure out exactly how fast you need to go over certain parts to get exactly that time. And whoever's closest to that time over at the end of the race wins. And a lot of times people do this in like classic sports cars. If you ever watch Top Gear or Grand Tour, they did that in one of their little things that they did. And they stopped trying to keep track and just went as fast as they possibly could. Because they're morons, and I like that part. Okay. But the goal is that we set this time, so how do we know if they're a bad driver? We look at the crash, we look at a lack of fluency, we look at the number of cussing or anger that is being produced, and we look at their ability to maintain this margin of speed. So far, so good? Your job is to answer this hypothesis, or answer this question. Why don't you do your experiment and find out? Well, there's no other drivers in this because other drivers cause confound. Maybe more angry you get, the more mistakes you make. Maybe the more angry you get, the faster you get. So you could easily test that. Could you come up with a way to manipulate the anger of the person sitting next to you? Get in a fight with them? All the guys laugh. He goes, what's that? Wet Willie, don't do it twice because then you taste like wax, but just All right, game on. Oh, 5 fingers. Yeah, that's a fun road trip companion right there. Okay. You stick your wet finger in someone's ear. Yeah, it's got for you. Marshmallows work really well too. Especially if you get them wet and sticky, then they get stuck in the ear. My son and I have tormented each other many times on many road trips. He's the one who stuck the marshmallow in my ear. Okay, so that would be something you could manipulate. So the goal is, your job is to figure out, what can we set up in my lab, my office, what can we set up in the office to test things that make people drive badly? Right, and so that's why I didn't tell you bad versus unsafe. And to me, I almost killed a guy on a motorcycle that was going buck 30 at least, because I put my blinker on in my old van and I look back and I merge over and he's coming back this way. He had to bank around me, and there's no way for me to look in my mirror and see him coming up from the lane over there. And so, to me, that's unsafe. But did he know what he was doing on his motorcycle? Yes, he's not a bad driver. He's making bad choices in my consideration. And it's the same thing as that about 3 seconds behind him, there was a police car without his lights on following him, because he was radioing ahead, hey, seeing if he's getting off on the exit. That police car was way more dangerous than the motorcycle, because the motorcycle can sneak between cars and go around. But if I pulled in front of that police car, there's no way he would have been able to stop, and he wouldn't have been able to fit between them. So in that particular case, the police car was being significantly more dangerous than the motorcycle. Yeah, my friend Henry is a CHP officer. He never uses filter. Well, the next thing is, you always see police cars. You don't notice the gray Honda minivan with roof rack leaning to one side right now. They need shots. So when I sit in, yeah. Right temporal parietal junction. Don't worry about that. It's a part of your brain where you recognize morals. Yeah. If you watch that video that I sent out, it has it. She explains it and shows it and everything else. Okay, so you have about 10 minutes to come up with a way to mess with Sam to see if you can change her driving. What are you going to do to see if you can change Sam's driving? Talk to each other. Go! I gotta pee. I should probably not put that on the recording. Oh well. But I do. Jasmine green tea today, super tasty, but man, it's a diuretic. And bitter is nasty if you let it sit too long.